When Rush announced the 50-something tour, most fans focused on one question: can Geddy Lee and Lifeson still pull this off? But while everyone was talking about the music, I started wondering about something completely different. How much money will they actually make by the time this tour is over? Not just from ticket sales. I'm talking about everything: VIP packages, merchandise, premium seating, international dates, and the massive expansion of the tour itself. At first, I thought the answer would be impressive. Then I started doing the math, and honestly, the final number was much bigger than I expected. This isn't just another reunion tour anymore. What was originally announced as a limited comeback has grown into a global event stretching from North America into South America and Europe. The current schedule includes dozens upon dozens of arena shows, making it Rush's biggest live undertaking in more than a decade. That changes everything, because every additional sold-out arena means millions more flowing into the tour before expenses are even considered. Now, before we go any further, here's something important. Neither Geddy Lee nor Lifeson has publicly revealed how much they'll personally earn from this tour. No official contracts or financial statements have been released. So in this video, we're using publicly available information: venue capacities, reported ticket prices, industry averages, and the announced tour schedule to build a realistic estimate, not an official figure. And that's where things get really interesting. Some tickets reportedly started around $150, while premium seats and VIP experiences have sold for several $100s, with resale prices in many cities climbing even higher because of overwhelming demand. Now think about that for a second. Take an arena with roughly 18,000 to 20,000 fans. Multiply that by several $100s on average. Then repeat that over and over again across an international tour that's approaching 90 shows. Suddenly, you're no longer talking about millions. You're talking about numbers that could rival the biggest rock tours of recent years. But gross revenue is only the beginning, because what Rush earns from ticket sales isn't what Geddy Lee and Lifeson actually take home. Once you subtract promoters, venue fees, production costs, transportation, crew salaries, taxes, management, and payments to the touring musicians, including Anika Nilles and keyboardist Lauren Gold, the picture changes dramatically. So, let's start with the biggest source of money: ticket sales. This is where the tour becomes a financial powerhouse. Rush's official schedule has grown far beyond its original announcement. The tour now spans North America, before continuing into South America and Europe, with the current itinerary reaching around 88 shows. Nowadays, let's build a realistic estimate. Most of the venues on the tour are major arenas that hold between 15,000 and 20,000 fans, with places like Madison Square Garden, Scotiabank Arena, and Chicago's United Center falling right into that range. Of course, not every seat sells for the same price. Some fans buy upper-level seats, while others pay for floor tickets or VIP packages. Reports from ticket sellers and fan purchases show face value tickets generally start around $120 to $150, while premium seats can reach several $100s, and VIP packages can cost much more. So instead of using the cheapest ticket or the most expensive one, let's use a conservative average. Imagine an average paid ticket of $250 across an arena with 18,000 fans. Here's the math. 18,000 fans times $250 each equals roughly $4.5 million from one sold-out show. Now multiply that by approximately 88 concerts. That brings the gross ticket revenue alone to nearly $396 million before expenses. And remember, that's using a fairly cautious average. If the actual average ticket price ends up being higher because of premium seating, VIP packages, and dynamic pricing, the total could climb well beyond that estimate. But here's where many people make a huge mistake. They see a number like $396 million and assume Geddy Lee and Lifeson split it between themselves. That isn't how concert touring works. Before either of them gets paid, the tour has to cover venue rentals, promoters, production, trucking, buses, flights, hotels, insurance, security, lighting, video screens, stage crews, catering, management, booking commissions, and salaries for everyone traveling with the band. Those costs can consume an enormous portion of a major arena tour's revenue. So the real question isn't how much the tour earns. The real question is how much is left after everyone else gets paid. And when we start estimating those expenses in the next part, you'll see why the final take-home number for Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson is both smaller and still surprisingly massive. So we now have a rough gross ticket revenue of nearly $396 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the part most people never see. A major arena tour is like running a huge company that moves from city to city every few days. Every show comes with a long list of bills that have to be paid before Geddy Lee or Alex Lifeson earn a single dollar. First, there are the promoters. Depending on the deal, promoters often receive a significant share of the revenue in exchange for organizing the shows, marketing them, and taking on financial risk. Then come venue rental fees, local staffing, security, ticketing costs, insurance, and city taxes. Next is the production itself. Rush isn't showing up with a few amplifiers and a drum kit. The 50-something tour features massive video screens, professional lighting, sound systems, stage equipment, trucks, buses, and dozens of crew members traveling from city to city. With Anika Nilles on drums and Lauren Gold on keyboards, the touring lineup is larger than just Geddy and Alex. And don't forget travel. Moving an arena production across North America and then into South America and Europe is incredibly expensive. Hundreds of hotel nights, charter flights, trucking, equipment shipping, catering, and daily operating costs can easily add up to tens of millions of dollars over the life of a global tour. Industry analysts often estimate that large arena tours can spend 40% to 60% of their gross revenue on operating expenses, although the exact percentage depends on each artist's contracts and production choices. So let's use a middle ground estimate. If the tour grosses about $396 million, and approximately half of that goes toward running the tour and paying everyone involved, that would leave around $198 million before the remaining business partners divide the profits. Now we're getting much closer to the number that actually matters. But even $198 million doesn't go straight into Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson's bank accounts. There are still managers, agents, business partners, corporate taxes, and other financial obligations to consider before anyone calculates their personal earnings. Now we've reached the most important question. After all the touring expenses are paid, how much of the remaining profit actually belongs to Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson? This is where we have to be careful. Rush has never released the financial terms of the 50-something tour, so nobody outside the organization knows the exact contracts. That means what follows is a reasoned estimate based on how major arena tours are commonly structured in the live music industry, not an official accounting. Here's what we do know. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson aren't simply employees on this tour. They are the founding members of Rush, the creative force behind the band, and the names that fill the arenas. That gives them a very different financial position from the hired touring musicians. Players like Anika Nilles and Lauren Gold are highly respected professionals, but touring musicians are typically paid through negotiated salaries or performance agreements, rather than sharing ownership of the band's overall profits. The exact terms of their contracts have not been made public. So, if our earlier estimate leaves approximately $198 million after major touring expenses, the next step is to consider what happens to that amount. Managers, booking agents, accountants, legal teams, and business taxes all take their share. Depending on the structure of the tour and the countries involved, those costs can reduce the distributable profit even further. Let's use another conservative estimate. Suppose those additional business costs reduce the remaining pool to around $160 million. If Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson ultimately split the majority of those profits, as many legacy acts do when the band is effectively led by its principal members, that could place each of them in the neighborhood of $70 million to $80 million before personal income taxes, depending on the exact agreements. That is an estimate, not a confirmed figure. And here's what makes it even more fascinating. We've only talked about ticket revenue so far, but arena tours don't make money from tickets alone. Every night, thousands of fans line up to buy tour shirts, hoodies, posters, vinyl records, programs, hats, and exclusive collectibles. VIP experiences also generate significant additional revenue. In some cases, merchandise alone can add tens of millions of dollars over the course of a major world tour. So if you thought the ticket numbers were impressive, wait until we factor in merchandise and VIP sales. That's where the financial picture becomes even bigger than most Rush fans imagine. If ticket sales were the only source of income, the 50-something tour would already rank as an enormous financial success. But they aren't. In fact, some of the most profitable parts of a major tour happen after fans walk through the arena doors. Take a look around the concourse before any Rush show. You'll see long lines for official tour merchandise: t-shirts, hoodies, hats, posters, drumsticks, vinyl records, and limited edition collectibles. For many fans, buying a souvenir is part of the experience, and those purchases add up quickly. Industry data shows that merchandise can generate millions of dollars over the course of a successful arena tour, especially when artists have a loyal fan base willing to spend on premium items. While the exact numbers for Rush haven't been released, it's reasonable to expect merchandise to contribute a significant additional stream of revenue. Then there are VIP experiences. Many fans are willing to pay hundreds, or even more, for premium seating, exclusive merchandise bundles, early venue access, or other enhanced ticket packages. Those higher-priced experiences can dramatically increase the average revenue earned per attendee compared to standard ticket sales. And the opportunities don't stop there. Every sold-out show also boosts sales of music streaming, vinyl reissues, books, and licensed merchandise. Geddy Lee's memoir, My Effin' Life, and Rush's extensive music catalog often see renewed interest whenever the band returns to the spotlight. A successful tour creates momentum that extends well beyond the arena itself. When you combine ticket sales, merchandise, VIP packages, and the increased demand for Rush-related products, it's easy to see why the 50-something tour could become one of the most financially successful chapters of Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson's careers. But here's the surprising part. Even if each of them earns tens of millions of dollars, it's unlikely that money is the main reason they're back on stage. Both musicians have spent decades building successful careers and have already accumulated substantial wealth through album sales, publishing royalties, previous tours, and other ventures. So if this isn't just about the paycheck, why come back now? The answer may be more meaningful than any dollar amount we've calculated. So, after breaking down the numbers, here's where we end up. Using conservative assumptions based on the current tour schedule, arena capacities, typical ticket prices, and standard touring costs, it's entirely possible that the 50-something tour could generate hundreds of millions of dollars in gross revenue before expenses. After accounting for production costs, promoters, venue fees, travel, crew salaries, taxes, management, and other business expenses, it's reasonable to estimate that Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson could each earn somewhere in the tens of millions of dollars before personal taxes. Could the final number be higher? Absolutely. Could it be lower? Yes. Without access to their private contracts, no one can know the exact figure. Everything in this video is an informed estimate based on publicly available information and industry practices, not an official financial report. But here's the part that really stood out to me. If money were the only goal, Geddy and Alex probably wouldn't need to spend months traveling across multiple continents, rehearsing for hours every day, and performing nearly 90 arena shows. Both men have already built remarkable careers, earned millions over decades, and secured their place in rock history. Instead, this tour feels like something bigger. It's a chance to celebrate the music that has connected generations of fans. It's an opportunity to honor the legacy of Neil Peart, whose influence remains at the heart of every Rush performance. And with Anika Nilles helping bring these songs back to life on stage, a new chapter has opened, while still respecting everything that came before. For longtime fans, the value of this tour isn't measured only in dollars. It's measured in hearing songs they never thought they'd experience live again. It's measured in parents bringing their children to their first Rush concert. It's measured in arenas full of people singing along to music that has lasted for decades. So yes, I calculated how much Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson might earn from the 50-something tour. The answer is likely a fortune. But the bigger payoff may be something that can't be calculated on a spreadsheet. It's the chance to write one more unforgettable chapter in the story of Rush, and to remind the world why their music continues to matter. If you enjoyed this breakdown, let me know in the comments. How much do you think Geddy and Alex will actually take home when the tour finally ends? I'd love to hear your estimate, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.